I want you to be able to increase your savings in 2025 because we all know having a little extra money set aside is extremely helpful. It could be anything from a car repair to a medical bill or, something similar to what we had a couple of weeks ago where the garbage disposal rusted out on the bottom. We opened the cabinet doors, we had no idea, and there's just a flood of water coming out underneath our sink. Had to replace the garbage disposal. These things always come up. So having that money set aside is important. So I decided to put together 26 tips. These are 26 tips that I think can help increase your savings in 2025. These are quick ways to add money to your bank account. I also like hearing from you. Are you planning to set aside more money next year? What are your ideas that you can share with others that are going to help you increase your savings, and maybe they can borrow from those ideas? It helps my channel out and helps share it with other people who might be looking for this information. If you would hit that like button down below, you can also subscribe to this channel. I have videos coming out all the time about this subject, and also comment. Leave your tip down below or just stop in and say hi. Number one is to make it a game. Make it fun. And this is a good way to save a lot of money quickly. You can do a no spend challenge. You could do a full month. I actually am planning to do a no spend challenge personally in January. I'm going to be doing a video, so make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below about tips and ideas, how to get started and how to be successful in your no spend month. You don't have to do a full month though. You can do a no spend weekend. You could do no spend days, so you don't spend any money that's not necessary, only necessities, not wants. At the end of the month, every last weekend of the month, or every Monday, you're not spending any money. These are ways to have fun with it. Make it a game. You could do a $5 challenge. You could, every time you get a $5 in cash, put it away. Use that money at the end of the year for your holiday gifts. There are different challenges and games and way you can make saving fun, and it helps you save a lot of money while having enjoyment while doing it. Number two is regarding your credit card interest. I want to show you what happens with credit card interest and how it is actually charged. So I've got two screenshots. I'm going to put one up right now. I want you to see the reality of how much interest accrues each month and then over the course of a year. So the average credit card balance in America right now is $8,500. The average interest rate on a credit card is 25%. What happens is that 25% is an annual 25%. So they divide it by 365 days. So each day 0.00068 is charged on your account. So every single day, you'll see 1 through 17 on the first section, 18 through 30 on the second section. You'll see the interest rate is in the middle, and then the next balance. So every single day, more interest is a charge. So it starts off at $5.78 and ends the month at $5.90. Realize that that's a coffee every single day that you're having, but you're not really having. It's completely wasted. And look how much all that adds up to at the end of the month. At the end of 1 month, you have not purchased anything else, but you have added $175 to your balance. Look at the end of a year. So if you have that $8,500 balance, over the course of 12 months, interest accrued on that is $2,125. Your new balance is $10,625. Now you might think, Jennifer, my balance is not that much. It's not that impactful. Well, I wanted to reduce the balance. Let me show you this next slide. This is just a $2,000 balance. Every single day, same scenario, same average interest, $1.36, $1.37, ends at $1.39. That is still $41 in interest that is accrued over the entirety of a month. And if you look at how much is accrued over the entirety of 12 months, that $2,000 credit card balance gains $500 of interest. So your total is $2,500 that you now owe. The whole point here is to realize that credit card interest rates are extremely high. When you've got anything from 20 up to 36%, as opposed to a car loan that might be 5% or a home loan that might be 2 to 6% depending upon when you got that loan, 25% is huge, and this is a huge amount of money that's gaining every single day, and it's completely wasted. So the importance here is if you can pay off this balance, stop wasting accrued money in interest, you're going to save in the long run. Number 3 is to audit your expenses and reevaluate your spending. Print out your bank statements, print out your credit card statements. Take and highlight how much you spent on groceries, highlight how much you spent on entertainment, how much you spent on subscriptions. What can you reduce? You can quickly find money if you audit your expenses by removing things that aren't necessary. Are there bank fees that are being charged that are just a complete waste? How much energy are you using and wasting? How many subscriptions do you have that you aren't using? You know, the average person has about 4 subscriptions and spends about $1,000 a year on those subscriptions. The most popular are TV subscriptions. Do you really need to have 3 at a time? Do you really need 2 at a time? Can you reduce down to 1 and then cancel that, go to the next one when you want to watch the next series? When you take a look at your expenses, take a reality check and look and think, what can I remove? You can immediately put money back in your pocket every single month. Number 4 is to save your raise or your bonus. If you do get a cost of living raise, maybe it's 3%, or you get more, maybe you go to a different job and you get an increase, or you get a promotion, or just a seasonal bonus. If you were able to make things work in your budget with the money you were making prior to that increase, immediately take that money and put it towards savings. Put it towards paying off that credit card. Put it away. Do not use it. Don't use that lifestyle creep and go out and buy something new because you have an extra $200 coming in a month so you can afford a higher car payment. Don't do that to yourself. Immediately put that money away, out of sight, out of mind. Number 5 is to set a savings goal. There's a purpose behind a savings goal that is mental when you're making purchases. Because if you have something you are looking to do, you are looking forward to, you are working hard to, then you have a why. This causes you to reevaluate every purchase. You should start to think, is buying this thing worth a delay in reaching my goal? Whatever that goal is, it could be a tropical vacation, it could be paying off your car loan, it could be anything. Is this purchase worth delaying that goal? So set that goal, that way you have a why to increase that savings. Number 6 is to have your money work for you by using a high yield savings account. Let me just give you one example. Let's assume you have an $8,000 emergency fund, and I'm going to use the interest rates that I currently have. So I have a savings account that's attached to my checking account. It's super low interest. It's 0.25%. And then I have a separate bank that I put most of my savings in that is 4%. So let's look at these numbers. So let's say you have $8,000 and you just put that $8,000 in your basic savings account at 0.25%. At the end of a year, that will have only earned you $20. Now, if you put that $8,000 in that higher 4% interest rate account, it will have earned $320. So simply by putting your money in a higher yield savings account, you have earned an additional $300 versus putting it in that basic account. Number 7 ties back to number 6 a bit, and it's to ensure that your savings account is not attached to your checking account. Of course, I do have a savings account that's attached to my checking account. It's just convenient. If I need to move money quickly or move it back here, that's fine. But the majority of savings is at a different account. One that it's more difficult to move into the account that I use on a daily basis. That puts friction between moving that money and the decision making. It allows the decision making or the want or the need. It gives you some space. So keeping that money away, that money that you're working hard to increase your savings in 2025 in a separate account that's not attached to your checking account is going to help you make better decisions rather than rashly moving the money because it's just easy. Now, number 8 ties back to if you are carrying credit card debt. If you aren't disciplined enough in using credit cards, then don't use them. Use debit cards. Remember that an average interest rate on a credit card is 25%. It makes it so hard to climb out of credit card debt when you have that much money accruing every month. Not to mention that many studies have been done showing the behavior of people who use credit cards to purchase somebody else's money, or using their own money, debit card or cash. And it is shown to have you spend 3 times more, on average, people who use credit cards on something than if they were using their own money that they had readily available. So with this one, you are able to save money if you use a debit card or use cash, because if you are more likely to spend 3 times as much using a credit card, you are automatically going to save money because you're going to spend within your means of what you have readily available right now. Number 10, you can put money very quickly into your savings account by picking up a side job, a side hustle, something you do in your spare time. I recently done a video on some of these. I will link that down below. If you're interested in picking one of these up, check it out. One of them might not necessarily be something you want to do, but it could get the wheels turning to have another idea come up. Number 11 is to keep your finances organized. You need to know what debts you have, what interest rates are they, where do they go. You need to know how much you're spending, what you're budgeting, what you're tracking, is in your bank accounts, what's coming in, what's going out. You need to be the person who knows your finances best. Don't stick your head in the sand. I can tell you that if you look at somebody with unorganized finances, there's probably going to be money issues there. There's at the very least money slipping away, money that they do not know. It's like a boat with a hole in it. It's slowly leaking out. Keep your finances organized. If that's a spreadsheet, if that's a piece of notebook paper, whatever it is, keep a notebook, whatever works for you so that you know exactly your financial situation. If an auditor were to come into your house tomorrow, you would say, here are all my accounts. These are my current debts. These are interest rates. These are the companies that they go to. This is the amount of money I have coming in. This is the amount of money I spend monthly. Be that professional about it. Number 12 is to make a list and stick to it. And this is not just about your grocery list, although that is extremely important. This is making a list anytime you go anywhere to buy anything. If you need to go out and buy something, having a list, sticking to it. One of the quickest ways to see money leave your pocket is not taking a list, number 1, or number 2, buying things that are not on the list. Number 13 is I just find this one fun. It just works for me, and I round up on everything. So I use an app called the Every Dollar app. I also track my expenses with that. It's how I budget. And every time I make a purchase, I round up in my app. Meaning, so let's say I go to the gas station and I spend $34.10. Then I put in my app that I spent $35. Now, if I go and I buy something from the local drugstore, maybe I go and get Band-Aids, and it's $4.86. I put that I spent $5. Over the course of the month, this is a great way to save because your budget item runs out quicker, and that money that you haven't spent is now in your account. What this is great to do is to build a buffer in your checking account so that something surprises you, somebody forgot to cash a check, it comes through, there's not money in the account, it bounces, you get whatever those fees are that's charged onto your account because it wasn't there. That is not a fun time. And one quick way to increase the savings there is to round up. This will help you sneakily, is that even a word? More covertly, more saving without even really knowing you're saving. Do it on small amounts that will add up to big amounts over time. Number 14, in order to round up in your budgeting app, you need to budget and track your expenses. Okay? Anybody, if any of you came to me and asked me for money advice, I would first ask you, are you budgeting and are you tracking your expenses? If you did nothing else this year and you want to save money, this is how you do it. Hear me tell you this through the camera. Please budget and track your expenses. Use a simple budget. Do not have 25, 30 categories. Have the basic categories and have an other bucket for everything else. It's super simple. It's never going to be perfect, so give yourself grace, but start budgeting and tracking your expenses, please. Number 15 is a quick way to not only get stuff out of your house, but get money in your bank account, and that is to sell your stuff. I know somebody right now who's basically done a humongous clean out from all the stuff that they've gathered over, I don't know how many years, 8, 9 years, and things that they don't need anymore. They've had all their children, they're getting rid of all the baby stuff because their family is complete. What do you have in your home that others want to buy? You can sell those so quickly on community forums, on Facebook Marketplace, all of those locally. If it's something that's not huge to ship, eBay, Poshmark for clothing, you can pull in quick money right now because there are many people looking for deals and they actually spend hours a day looking on Facebook Marketplace, looking at their community forums to see what is for sale, what they can pick up for a bargain. So go out, get yourself some quick cash, take that money then and put it right into the savings account, okay? Number 16 is to automate your savings. Now this can be done by sending money straight to a savings account or contributing to your retirement and 401k, or both. What I really recommend is if you have direct deposit with your employer is to talk to your HR, whomever does your direct deposit, and set up where part of your paycheck automatically goes to a bank account that's your savings. Okay, so let's say your paycheck is $1,000 and you want to save $200 from that paycheck in a savings account. So you put $200 automatically goes to your savings, out of sight, out of mind, and all you're left with in your paycheck and all that you see in your checking account is $800. If you don't know it's not there, you're not going to use it. Right? You're going to use what is there. So go ahead when you're in the good decision making process, not when the money's sitting there, it's the end of the month and you're like, I could go buy those really nice shoes or I could put the money in savings. You're real tempted by the end of the month. You've been doing maybe a no spend or a low spend. No, don't do that to yourself. Automatically move it. Number 17 is cutting back on convenience spending. Cooking at home cuts back on convenience of eating out or buying prepared meals. Doing your own small home repairs, your own home maintenance cuts back on convenience spending. Taking your snacks with you cuts back on convenience snacking at the convenience store because you're hungry and you're not yet home. There are different ways that you can take things that are currently conveniences and save money by not doing them, by doing a little bit yourself. Take that amount that you save from not spending on convenience and put it in your savings account. Number 18 is to cut back or stop eating out. Did you know that on average, eating out costs 3 to 4 times as much as cooking at home? So that $10 meal that you could make at home would cost $30 to $40 out. You could quickly save, again, that convenience part by cutting back on eating out and cooking at home. So if you can save $20 to $30 on that meal, you could take that $20 to $30 that you made that thing at home instead of going out to get it, probably going to taste better anyway, and put that money in your savings. Number 19 is to gain control of yourself and tell yourself no. Sometimes it is just actually taking some self-discipline and saying no to ourselves. No to that want over the need. The need to have that savings set aside for when things come up, as you know, and when you don't have that money, it stresses you out. So tell yourself no for that want that you have in the short term. Number 20 is to cut back on expensive entertainment. Entertainment costs have blown up. I mean, to go to a theme park or a concert or a game is insane. Try to eat at one of those either. Talk about 3 to 4% or 3 to 4 times more. No, more like 6 or 7 times more than eating that meal out somewhere else, eating it at a theme park or a game. So there are many things that you can do that are entertainment, that are low cost or no cost. So you can, if you're one person who goes out and spends a ton of money on entertainment, you could easily save a humongous chunk of money just by cutting back, just by going down to 1 or 2 events, or just by going down to nothing for a few months if you really want to pile that money up. Number 21 is stopping the bad habits, the expensive bad habits. The ones that are not reaping you any benefit whatsoever. And I know that all of these are difficult and you might have to go out and get help to do so. If you do, then it might be worth it. Just consider it. I mean, the cost and the health, I've personally seen the devastation of alcohol and smoking in my family. And it's not just the cost or the health that you are suffering, but those around you. These things are proven to not be good for you. Vaping, huge expenses. I mean, to get off the sad part, the long-term medical bills the cost of this, I knew somebody who is in their early 30s. It's a couple. And I was looking at their finances. They wanted me to mentor them. And when we added up how much they were spending on vaping, something that is no net positive on their life, it was $500 a month. And I just thought, it's not even a cheap way to, have a bad habit. But I mean, even lottery tickets, people who go out and get scratch-offs all the time to attempt to win. Yeah, you might win. Chances are you won't. More often than not, you're just wasting your money. I understand that these are hard habits that might need actual professional help to help you get off of them. But not just the benefit of taking that money that you're spending on them and putting it in savings, taking that habit and stopping it so that you save in the long run with your medical needs and your health. Number 22 is to save first, then spend. We talked about this a bit when I talked about putting your money automatically in a separate savings account rather than trying to set that money aside later on in the month. So if you don't do that and you just have the money comes to your hand, right? Well, before you spend any of it, if you've used your budget, you know how much money you can budget to set aside into your savings account. Put that money there first. That's your first action. Number 23 is one that I didn't learn till I think maybe about 38. I was really good at it. And it was to stop caring what other people think. I don't care. I will present myself nicely in public. I will speak nicely to people. I will be kind and generous. Of course, I am a human and I am flawed and I might have bad days. Certainly I do. I admit that. But as far as caring what other people think about my home, about what I wear necessarily, so long as I don't have holes and show up with dirt all over me because I'm not a painter or work out in construction, or what I drive, I do not care. It does not bother me. You are not offending me whatsoever by saying anything or laughing at me or making a comment about how I'm frugal. Okay, I'm doing quite okay and I'm comfortable with myself at this point. And this comes with confidence over age. Anybody who's older probably knows this. With age comes wisdom, and the wisdom to know that other people's opinions don't matter. It really only is one opinion, and that's God above, that matters. So when you stop worrying, when you stop living for others, when you stop keeping up with your neighbor or worrying what you're driving or what your house looks like or what your furnishings look like or what your outfit looks like, there is a savings that comes from not spending all that money on that lifestyle creep, on keeping up with others. Number 24 is very practical. If you have a problem shopping online, okay, and you have shopping apps actively on your phone, remove them. If this is including Amazon, if you find yourself mindlessly scrolling Amazon, remove it. You need to put some distance between yourself and having a bad day and making decisions about spending money. Because when you're having a bad day, you're not feeling well, somebody's made you mad, you're going to go on there and probably hit the checkout button a lot easier than if you were in a good mood. So don't have that for yourself. Put Amazon on your computer. If you need to go buy something, you can go to your computer, which again puts that distance between your emotion and the action that you're taking. Number 25. Now I know that processed food, oddly, is less expensive. But let me explain, stop buying unhealthy processed foods. Ultra-processed foods is what I mean. Processed foods are, you chop up an apple and that's processed. What we're talking about is ultra-processed, like, I don't know, potato chips. Something you can't really replicate very easily. The thing about junk food is it's actually designed, it's engineered to make you eat more. When you eat that bag of chips, you want to continue to eat. If you were to eat a pile of boiled potatoes, same thing as a potato chip, not really, you would get full and not want any more after a certain amount. But potato chips, somehow you can eat way more potatoes in that because they are actually engineered to make you do so. So not only the health benefits of not doing that, but two is if it makes you eat more, you're going to spend more money on food. So if you get all this junk food, if you only focus on the interior aisles of a grocery store and you get all these boxed things and that's all you eat, it might be less expensive, but in the long run you're going to be eating more because you're not going to be full or satiated. It's going to make you want more, thus spending more money. We're going to end these tips with number 26, ways that you can put more money in your savings, increase your savings in 2025. So we're going to end with a timeless money saving tip. And it is to make do or do without for the time being. So make do. Well, you don't have this thing. You could go out and buy it, so much easier these days. What could you do in place of that? Or, I don't have anything that would work for that right now. Well, I might just have to wait. It's that, again, going back to telling yourself no, but actually going back to the days when they weren't able to go onto their shopping app on their phone and order absolutely anything they wanted in the split second that they realized they needed it. Make do with what you had because you couldn't get to any kind of a place unless you took an hour trip for some areas where people lived or the mode of transportation. They made do or they did without. I hope there was something in this video that's going to help you increase your savings for 2025. Make sure that we don't have a situation where we don't have the money needed when we need it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click on that like button. Don't forget down below, let me know in the comments. Just stop in to say hello or let me know your tip to increase savings. Hit the subscribe button too to make sure you can come back. I'm going to post that video all about my no spend January. If it happens to be after January that you're watching this video, you don't have to wait till January. You can do this in March or in November. It does not matter. But check out to see if that video is already up on my channel if you are watching this after I have posted it. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Have a wonderful week ahead.